Every single person here in the room, if you do this, and if you do the proper steps, and if you follow proper advice, can be potentially in a position to have an 8-figure net worth in 5 years. But you have to be willing to take action on that vision. You have to do the steps to get the capability and confidence you need, or be okay with a life of regret. New Year's resolution, it's December 31st, it's midnight, and everyone's like, okay, this year we're finally gonna go lose weight. The entire gym industry is built on that, by the way. Like the gyms could not work if everyone that's a member shows up 3 times a week. They would burst at the seams. They're simply built on the fact that people have New Year's resolutions and never follow through. So as a result, 90% of the gym members never show up, and the gym is still full. Can you imagine what happens if everyone would show up? Well, here's the thing. That's a recipe for success for the gyms. But for the people, it's not a recipe of success. It's the opposite. So what needs to happen is we need to turn that ship around. We need to change that. So here's the thing. New Year's resolution, the same year. So like boyfriend, girlfriend, together for, 7 years. Every year, they're like, New Year's resolution is like, this year, gonna lose weight. This year, we're gonna lose weight. January 17th comes around, the cheesecake is back on the table, right? So now, next year, New Year's resolution happens. Midnight, he goes down on a knee, he pops the ring, she cries, everyone is happy, she says yes, and they set their wedding for 10 months later. And they say like, oh, for us to look our best, we need to lose 20 pounds. Are they gonna lose the 20 pounds by the wedding date? Yes, I see a whole bunch of yeses. Somebody says no. Like, but everyone else says yes. There's always a little bit of this dissenter somewhere. Like anyway. So yes, the answer is most likely yes. Why? It's the exact same New Year's resolution. Everything is exactly the same. It's December 31st, it's midnight, you're with your friends, you're having drinks, your thing. It's a huge why. The only differentiating factor is that now it has become important. Now it has become urgent and important, and now it's happening. So, how are we going to, this principle that we're not doing anything until it's urgent and important plays out in every aspect of our lives. So, how do we fix it? We need to make it urgent and important. So therefore, let's go to this exercise. Step number 1, let's find out what are your goals. Step number 2, let's go figure out how we can make them urgent and important. So the exercise is here, your 1-year goals are basically answering the following question. If we were to meet here again 1 year from now, what would have needed to happen for you to be happy with your life in the context of obviously land flipping? But not just land flipping, but in the concept of your life too. So in other words, 1-year goals, put down income goals. How much money do you think you can reasonably as a stretch goal, not just oh, I'm gonna do 1 deal in a year. Now that's not a stretch goal, right? Doing 500 deals in the first year is probably beyond a stretch goal, and it's your subconscious won't even believe it, and then you won't even take action. But put something like that you think like, I think I can do X deals, and then like double it, or add 50% or 80% or 100% to it, so that it becomes something like, whoa, if I want to make that happen, I really got to do something. So it's not like I want to lose 1 pound the next year. Now that's just it. That's like you skip dinner for 3 times and you're done, right? It's like, but also I don't want to lose 300 pounds this year. That's not doable either, right? So you just find something that is a stretch goal for you. Think about what's reasonable and then double it. Number of deals translates to the same thing. Like a $3 million deal is going to take you a while to do, so that might not be a year one goal, but we have had, last time we had a live event, we inducted somebody into a Hall of Fame that made $1 million in land flips in 1 year, in his first year. He cracked $1 million mark, right? So that's the fastest one we've ever seen it. Like 10 months, 11, 12 months to $1 million. A couple of others did it in 13, 14 months. But again, this is not typical. Guys, if you're here, somebody from the FTC is here, let me tell you, it's not an income claim. It's not typical. Right? So, but the point is, but doing a few deals, like several people already came up to me. It's like, hey, we started your coaching, or just a few months ago, I got 5 deals under contract. I got 2 deals, my first 2 deals under contract. Things like that. Things are happening, right? So again, also personal milestone goals, milestone goals, like quitting a job. Right? Could it be a reasonable goal to say today is March 14th, by the end of the year, or by October 31st, or by September 31st, I have done enough land deals that I can quit my job? Right? That would be a good goal, right? So again, be aggressive, but not crazy. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but vastly underestimate what they can do in 3 to 5 years. Vastly underestimated. And so put this down, put this on the sheets. And then you do something additional. There's a step 2 to that. Why are these goals important? Why are these goals important? So let me tell you a story while you write those. So when Michelle and I started in our land business, once we figured it out, we got visit from my parents. My parents came to visit us, as they come usually like about once a year, and we go over as a family at least once a year. I think last year I was in Europe 3 or 4 times. So usually they come over, we go over once. So my parents come over, and my dad looked like, you know how some people look the same for forever? And all of a sudden, within like a year, they look like they aged 20 years. That's how what happened to my dad. It's like, Dad, with all due respect, but you look like crap. What's happening? Didn't say it like that, but that's what I thought. I was like, what's happening? He's like, well, I've been a teacher for 41 years, and I just don't want to do it anymore. But I can't quit, because if I quit, I lose half of my retirement, because it's kind of like backloaded somehow, wherever German rules, don't know. And it's like, and so it's like, so what do we do about it? He's like, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't have enough. So do you have savings? Can you still quit or something? He's like, no, I brought 2 kids to college, which I'm very happy about, but I don't have a whole lot of savings. He's like, true. So then we looked it up, and we found there's a loophole that we found that he could quit earlier and still maintain this thing under certain conditions. I'm not going to bore you with it. But bottom line is, he wouldn't have income for several years. So Michelle and I had just figured out this land business. So we could have continued to take it slow as a land business. We could have just said like, hey, we've done our first couple of deals that I showed earlier. We could have just continue and work on our jobs and continue to wait until the green card comes. And once the green card is there, then put the pedal to the metal or so. But instead, what we realized is that if we don't make this land business a priority, if we don't take it seriously, and if we don't make it urgent, my dad's health is going to continue to deteriorate, and he might not even make it to his retirement. Or if he makes it to retirement, he makes it to retirement as an old broken man. So we're like, we can't have that. So we put it on our list of why the land business needs to be important, and why we need to put the pedal to the metal is because we have to respond. We have found something that can help my dad to a longer life and to an earlier retirement. And not just earlier retirement for sake of earlier retirement, but for a health point of view, for a longer life. So we put that on the list. The next thing is, Michelle and I love being together. For years and years and years, we are not known as Jack Bosch and Michelle Bosch. We're known as Jack and Michelle, and that's one word. So Jack and Michelle, because we love spending we're weird. We love spending 24/7 together. Last year, we spent 2 months in Europe together, and we were for 2 months, we were like, I don't think of a moment we were separate. And we loved it. It's just weird. It's just us. Somebody else, that might be your nightmare. Who knows? But for me, for us, that's what we like. Now I'm in a job that I'm traveling 100%, and Monday to Friday I'm gone. Is that a good situation if you love being together? No. So we made that an urgent thing. It's like, we need to get this to the point that by the time the green card arrives, we can immediately quit. Not start the business when the green card arrives, but quit when the green card arrives. Because before I couldn't. On an H-1B visa, your visa in the United States, it's tied to your employer. So if you quit or you get fired, you have 60 days to find another job, or you have to leave the country. So I couldn't afford to be fired. I couldn't afford to quit. I had to do what I had to do to stay in this job. But in part-time on nights and weekends, we were doing whatever we could to bring this business up to the point that when the green card arrived, I could immediately turn in our resignation, because at that time Michelle actually quit her job first. We got married. She put her visa on my visa application, because as Germans it takes less long to get the green card as Hondurans. Hondurans take forever to get a green card, because they have certain allocations for a thing, and there's not that many Germans that come here, but there's more Latin Americans that come here. So she would have had to wait years and years, so she put it on mine. And then she actually got started first full-time, and then she got me out of my job. So she liberated me. But bottom line is we scheduled it out. We basically said, like, okay, we're going to do this. Once we hit this goal as fast as possible, you quit your job. And then once the green card arrives, I quit my job and we're free. So we made it urgent. We knew it. We had only about a year to go until the green card arrives. So we made it urgent and important. And we stacked those reasons one on top of the other. Because when those days come, when you don't feel like it, when those days come that you wake up and you're like, oh, I don't really want to do anything about my business. My buddies called and they want to go watch football. Or my buddies called, they want to go this. I'm invited to 3 parties in a row and I don't feel like it and I drank too much. And whether that's when the moments when everything goes sideways, doesn't it? In anything you usually probably ever start. And in those moments, that's the moments when you lose weight, then go sideways, because now there's this party and that party and this party and that party, and soon enough you're drinking and you're eating and thing again, and everything is out the door. The only thing that keeps you in line at that moment, or one of the things that keeps you in line, is a strong community to plug into, but then also is how important is your goal to you. So that's why this is crucially important to add those things. Why? So what happens is when we were tired, because I worked 70, 80 hours a week, when I was tired on Thursday evening, remember there was no Zillow and there was no MapQuest, there was only MapQuest, there was no thing, and we needed to still look at properties. Guess what I did when I came back Friday afternoon? Michelle picked me up in the airport and we went straight up driving northern Arizona to look at properties. Looked at properties all weekend long, came back Sunday night. Monday I flew out again to go to work again. Why? Because not doing it meant to be separated from Michelle for longer. Not doing it meant for my dad to be not retired and his health deteriorating. So you associate the negative things with you not doing it. And all of a sudden, it propels you forward. If people think of wealth creation, usually they only think about it to non-cash flow producing things like mutual funds, stock market gambles, saving account, collectibles, art, and things like that. And in other words, what we call that is the pile of money theory. And the pile of money theory is even something that is like certain is that number. Like, what's your number? That the financial industry tries to teach you, because what the financial industry wants you to do is have a certain amount of money in a retirement account with Charles Schwab, so that they charge you a fee every year on that money. Like always, but what you want is you want that money producing income for you, and that money being able to pay down your debt, and that money to use that money now. And I love what several of the people that shared this morning said. They said, like, you know what? When I was young, I had all the energy, but I had no money. When I'm in when you're middle age, you have a career, you have the money, but you have no time. And when you're older, often you have the time, but neither you have the health and perhaps not even the money or money anymore. Well, let's change that. Like, how about having the money now? How about being in the position of have the money in the next 6 or 12 months and being able to live the life now? Let's not postpone that. That's why, for example, I don't invest in a 401k or IRA, because I don't want to not have access to my money for the next, a bunch of years. Right? When I was in my 30s, I looked at that. When we started doing land deals, I was like, should I put money in a 401k? It's like, no, because I don't have access to it until a self-directed 401k is fine. A self-directed IRA is fine, particularly to put some extra money in there, because you can do land deals in your self-directed IRA, by the way. But I much prefer having my money outside of these things, doing deals, and then shielding my money with advanced tax strategies. right, that you can do too, but that's a different subject. But the point is the pile of money theory works until the investment, and you invest at the top of the market and get wiped out. If you invested in the stock market last month, it's down 20%. It's probably going to take another 2 years before you even break even. Like, no, use your money to invest in something that makes you a 7,000% return, that makes your 200% return, that makes your 300% return, and so on. And then you pay a little taxes on it. But this afternoon we learn about how to not pay taxes. And then you build wealth, also most importantly, independent of economic cycles. Because when you have a skill in something that works, no matter what the market does, you can make money no matter what the market does. Who loves that? Right? Like, for example, and then best, of course, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself and create mastery, have a superior method, a superior system, and a superior accountability and support. So when you master that, you build a 7-figure, 6-figure, 7-figure business. And in our case, we built this to $71,000 a month in cash flow. And when then the economy turned, which allowed us to continue to do land deals, but there was about a 4 to 6 month period in that time period where we needed to recalibrate. We were like, what's going on here? The sellers for a little bit wanted to still all the money. The buyers wanted to pay lower. So we needed to wait. After about 6 months, the sellers had readjusted. Then we were able to buy them cheap and sell them. So for a few months, we needed to go like, what's going on here? But our cash flow brought us through that. Our other cash deals continued to do that. And then all of a sudden, okay, great, we're back, let's go. Right? So the point is, with $71,000 a month in our case, we were able to go shopping. Right? So, but the thing is, you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared for that. So you have to take action, because without a vision for the future always return to the past. If you don't have something that you can anchor into the future, which is what we've done yesterday morning and this morning, then you will always fall back to what you're already programmed to do for the longest time. You fall back into your old habits, right? So therefore, stacking those visions is so freaking important. So freaking important. Stack those reasons, stack those goals, make them real, make them urgent, make them non-negotiable. Again, in our case, it was like retire my dad, get rid of that job that had 100% travel, have more vacation. Like, I came to this country, I had 2 weeks vacation. My parents and my family is in Germany. Michelle's family is in Honduras. If you have 2 weeks vacation, how much can you do? Nothing. But we made it a point, we said we will not. Like, at one time I used to live in Chicago, and I went to a barber, and the barber had an Italian accent. It's like, how long have you been in this country? He's like, 60 years. He was like in his 80s or so. And it was like 60 years. And he's like, how often do you go back? Oh, I haven't been back in 30 years. And he's like, why not? Well, you know, it's expensive and I got to work and thing. In other words, he'd given up on his relationships in his home country. He's given up on his family, and he basically given up, and he said, well, I'm over here, I can't do anything about it. Well, we refused to do that. We probably see me and our daughter and Sophia and Michelle, we see my parents, Sophia's grandparents, probably more often than many people here in the room where their parents live in the United States. And that's simply because we can go anytime we want. Yes, it's an exhausting trip, but it's not so exhausting if you have a lay-flat bed and you can sleep through the night in the plane. Right? So the point is, everything, all of these things is you just need to make it important enough. So we're like, retire my dad, quit the job, have more time, be able to travel on vacations. When we have kids, which in this case, Sophia, take care of Sophia, like be there for Sophia, spend time with her, travel with her, like maintain those relationships with the family. All those things are stacked on top of each other. Have enough money to help others, have enough money to give to charity, etc., etc., etc. So again, and then also in some way, massive success is the best revenge. Like, if you had people in your life that dissed you, that told you will never make up amount to anything, if you had people that mistreated you, that bullied you, or something like that, nothing is more beautiful short term than being able to come back to that reunion and be like the most successful person there. Now, it's not necessarily a long-term goal. You'll find out that it doesn't matter. But the point is, it's great fuel. Use it for fuel, right? Use it for short-term fuel, right? And then again, doing nothing means massively losing. So look at the economy. You cannot afford to actually take action. I was Monday to Wednesday. I was in a conference in Los Angeles where they talked about advances in AI, advances in robotics, advances in healthcare, advances in crypto and all this kind of stuff. And it's mind-blowing what's happening right now. Like I talked to a friend of mine, as I said, and he's a gastroenterologist, and he says like, oh, robots will never take away my job. We're 2 years away from healthcare, diagnostic healthcare being, you don't need to go to a doctor anymore. In 2 years, there's going to be systems out there that you technically take a picture of a skin thing. Already, I've used that already. Take a picture of a mole, and it tells you this mole is fine. Oh, this mole, you need to go to your doctor and have it looked at. So diagnostic medicine is already gone. You don't need to go to a doctor for your normal checkups. You can always just take sample tests or something. Like you think that your job is safe? You think your Uber job is safe? Come to Phoenix. There's hundreds of Waymo driverless cars driving around with nobody in them. Spooky, but there's literally fleets of empty cars driving around or guests sitting in the back of the car. Like you have an empty car driving you around. And that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. So think like the taxi drivers thought they were safe, then Uber came. The Uber drivers think they're safe. Now this is coming. No, the thing is we have a few years. You have about 5 to 10 years before literally almost all our jobs are being taken by robots. I talked to robots on Tuesday. I danced with a robot, little robot, dancing around, right? Talked to a robot nurse. A nurse that already is doing 40% of the repetitive things in the nursing home. Entertains the people, talks to them, is humorous, is very intelligent, and so on and so forth. So all of this is already happening. The point, what's going to happen at that point is two things. There's going to be winners and there are going to be losers. And the winners are those that right now put the money thing to rest. Winners are going to be those that right now are going to make as much money as they can in order to then have the options of investing in those other companies that are going to win, or buying some apartments or things like that where people are going to live and things like that. So the point is that's your position, or that's where we are right now, and you got to do whatever it takes to be one of those winners, right? There's driverless trucks already. Amazon has robots. Oh yeah, we had during the conference little airplane helicopters delivered goods just in the backyard. Everyone went outside and they came flying and they just lowered things. In Dallas, actually, Walmart is already delivered 450,000 packages by little airplane helicopters. Anyone has seen those already? Anyone has had them delivered already? Anyone from Dallas here? Yes? Yeah, that's becoming the most normal thing. These are the test markets right now. Within probably 5 years, like FedEx and UPS, no longer necessary for the lighter goods, because a little airplane about that size weighs almost nothing, flies and it can fly this way, but it also has like helicopter things, and it just lowers the thing down in your front yard, and you pick it up. And it sends you a text message. Your package is 4 minutes and 37 seconds away, because they know exactly how long it's going to take to fly, because there's no traffic jam. It's absolute insanity what's happening right now. But the point is, all of that is going to impact us a lot. And in order to win, you got to win now, not next year. You got to win now. You got to do whatever it takes to win now. So this doesn't affect me. Again, driverless cars, robots are now they can peel bananas, they can do surgery, and that's where my gastroenterologist friend is wrong. Because robots already can do better surgery than humans. They're just that it's going to take another 10, 15 years before the FDA allows that to happen. It's the humans that are slower. The technology is already faster than the humans. Right? Artificial hearts are grown already. They showed an actual case where they actually connected the brain to a computer. That's crazy shit. I don't know. But anyway, inflation, that one went over my head. But inflation is still high. Like I talked to some guys, there's like actually what the government gives you out as inflation is not the right number. Because it excludes everything that goes up in value. Yeah. It includes all, and as a matter of fact, you can actually look this up. The way inflation was calculated in the 1980s was completely different than how it's calculated today. It's called the same thing, but they kept taking more and more and more stuff out. And if you take the 1980s calculation for inflation, we're at 11%. So in other words, even if your money makes 5% in the treasury, or 5% in a bond, or 5% in a special savings account, you're still losing 6%. So keeping your money in that is not, you're losing money. You need to make at least 11% in order to even maintain the purchase power of your money. And the best way to use your money is by actually learning how to exponentially grow your money. Like how to learn how to eventually, down the road, in a couple of years from now, as you master this, as you do a few rounds of the 4 C's, be able to do a $4 million or $4 million or $2 million deal down the road, or do a $70,000 deal, or do a deal like that you get in 7 days from 110 to 195, or a deal that you got for $1,600 and sell for $34,000, or make $1.5 million, or make $2.1 million per year in your business. Because when you make those kind of money, and even if it's a tenth of that, again, it's not an income claim, you got to do the work and that needs to be done for that. But when you make even a fraction of that, you're speeding ahead of the game. And then you are in a position to actually be one of the winners of the change that we're looking at. So it's what you don't know that's hurting you. It's what you don't know. The reason I'm going to this conference from Monday to Wednesday is because I'm the dumb guy in the room. Because I don't know anything that's going on, and I don't want to be that story that Gary Vaynerchuk told one time. Like, if you heard of Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, is a guy out there. But anyway, he comes from a Russian background, or like his parents came from Russia many years ago. And he says, like, when the taxi drivers, it's like in New York City, taxi drivers, a lot of them, I guess, have Russian. Some of them have Russian background, and so they built up this team for 20, 30 years. They got one license after the other, and finally they had their team of 25, their crew of 15 taxis that run for them, and they can sit back, and they bought a little boat, and then Uber hits, and they didn't see Uber coming. And all of a sudden, Uber takes all their business, and they're basically bankrupt. Well, I don't want that to happen to me, and I don't want that to happen to any of you guys, right? So that's why what you don't know is what's hurting you. So you have to expand yourself. You have to know what is possible. That's your best way of succeeding in life, is to be ahead of time. So I'm paying 25 grand a year to attend one 3-day conference. But what I'm taking from that is worth its weight in gold, right? And we're paying 50 grand for programs where we meet like once every quarter for like half a day or something like that, or things like that. So we are constantly investing in ourselves, because the way to be successful is to be ahead of the curve. The way to be successful is to be plugged in. The way to be successful is to again, you have to expand yourself and have increase your abilities quickly. Freedom only comes from expanding who you are. Doesn't come from holding on. Doesn't come from sitting on the cash in the mattress. Like, it comes from being able to build more capabilities, because then you can adjust with the market as the market thinks. So if you did nothing during the 2004 to 2007 boom, you lost out on millions in profits. Because if you had been in the position of having built a business by that time, you could have gone shopping. So we flipped 2,000 of our 5,000 lots between 2004 and 2007. We had a huge nest egg on the sideline. We had millions in the process, and then built huge monthly cash flow, and then we could use, and then you did nothing during the big recession either. 2008, 9, 10, and 9, 10, 11, and so on. We also could have lost out on profits. Right? Because here's the thing, when the media, here's the best way to tell when is a great time to invest in real estate. When the media says it's not. Right? Because that's the thing. When the media says it's not, is the time to invest. When the media says, oh my God, prices are going down, great, we can go shopping. Right? When the media says, oh my God, market is overflowing, then everyone is in the market. Well, guess what? Right now, it's like the middle of the road. But the point is, there's certain areas of real estate. Multifamily is like struggling a little bit. Office is obviously struggling because nobody's in the offices anymore. But land is on fire, just nobody knows it. or very few people know it. So it's a hidden asset, which is why you guys are here. So again, but during the big recession, we bought rental houses like crazy, like for pennies on the dollar. Now they all increased tenfold in value, and we made at least $6 million on them, probably more, and get $200,000 in passive income for the last 10 years just from those houses. And that is net passive income, after paying repairs, after paying all the different kind of things. Right? On houses we bought for $50K a deal. So right now there's a huge opportunities. Deals are happening. We're seeing some of the largest deals that we have seen really ever. We've seen some of our students having the best years, the best successes. But you will need knowledge, experience, profits, network, investors, network of investors all around you, so you can do those deals. Like if you do a land split, you might need to borrow $100,000 to buy that thing and then split it up and so on. You need to take advantage of. So the key message is here: you can play both sides, but you have to know when to play which side. Right now is the time to play the land side. Since COVID, our market is on fire, and there's no indication that this market is coming down. But again, you don't want to wait, because right now you want to make all the money, so you be the winner of this all big shift that we're going through right now with all this robotics and things like that. Right? So I can't wait to have a little house help or robotic, like do the dishes and thing and run around the house and clean up and stuff. But that's probably going to be in a couple of years. We could have already bought one. They were selling them at that event, but they weren't as far as I want them to do. I want to be able to talk to the thing, and I want him to walk my dog, and I want him to and things like that. So then, but again, since COVID is our market is on fire, make money now, then roll that into additional opportunities. And every single person here in the room, if you do this, again, if you do this, and if you do the proper steps, and if you follow proper advice, can be potentially in a position to have an 8-figure net worth in 5 years. And with that, you can be in a position to really sit back and be a winner in this economy. But you have to be willing to take action on that vision. You have to do the steps to get the capability and confidence you need, or be okay with a life of regret.